The success of the Crash Bandicoot remaster shows that gamers always like a good comeback story. The return of the former PlayStation mascot has only made us hungry for more. We have so many good memories of long-forgotten franchises that we grew up playing with. So developers, take note, because here are 10 games that deserve a comeback.
We are the lazy generation now. Stand up and shout. We won't be
Burnout might be our favorite racing game series of all time. However, EA pretty much killed it when they took over developer Criterion in 2004. They still made a couple of awesome sequels under EA, but were soon forced to work on the Need for Speed series. While Need for Speed tried to copy a lot of things from Burnout, it never came close to the madness of Burnout 3 Takedown or Paradise. We really miss slamming our opponents into a wall or the complete chaos in the extremely fun Crash mode. With the new Need for Speed game on the horizon, the Burnout fans are being left out in the cold, and that sucks.
It doesn't sound too good down there, Fisher.
The sound isn't the problem. You should smell it.
You're sure he's dead?
Deader than Elvis.
We know Splinter Cell Blacklist came out in 2013, but it feels like ages ago since we last saw Sam Fisher. The iconic game hero once helped popularize the stealth game genre back on the original Xbox. The guy definitely deserved a break, but now we are seriously worried about his well-being. Does Microsoft still believe in games that are all about sneaking these days?
The hostages behaving themselves? They are now. How'd you get them in line? Broke one of them, the big guy thought he was
Kojima showed the world that there is still a place for stealth games with Metal Gear Solid 5. We would love to see a new Splinter Cell that does open-world action just as well. We know that Michael Ironside was absent as Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell Blacklist, but we really want him back if they ever do a new one, even though he sounded pretty drunk in the later games.
Come on, sweetie. There's nothing to be afraid of in the dark. Sometimes darkness is a good thing, like when you want to go to sleep.
When we talk about futuristic racing games, most gamers immediately think of F-Zero and Wipeout. However, we like to put a spotlight on Rollcage for the original PlayStation. The series consists of only 2 games, but they were extremely fun to play. The big hook of the game was the fact that you could race cars on walls and upside down. It sounds pretty simple, but it provided some very original racing action. The games also had a killer soundtrack and looked very nice at the time. They tried to bring the game back in 2015 in the form of Grip, and even though the Kickstarter campaign didn't meet its goal, it looks like development is still going on. So, let's hope they manage to actually finish the game and bring it to market.
Sonic Mediums provided by the sound of myself.
We'll never forget the first time we played SSX on the PlayStation 2. This launch game really showed what the system could do. The graphics and soundtrack blew our young minds, and the game was actually fun to play too. The snowboarding was very addictive, and the impressive trick system made it that much better.
Excellent with the crowd. Excellent. Listen, Andy.
EA brought the series back in 2012, and that game got pretty good reviews, which makes it all the more puzzling that they let the series fizzle out again. Why won't they make a new game in a series that gamers and critics really enjoy? There was a time when publishers released skateboard games left and right. The biggest two were the over-the-top Tony Hawk games by Activision and the more realistic Skate series by EA. However, now it looks like Tony Hawk has been tarnished forever by the trash fire that was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. So, it seems like the perfect time for Skate to make a comeback. Fans of the series have been begging EA for years to release Skate 4. The games had a very interesting control scheme that focused on the 2 sticks of the controller. It was hard to learn but gave players an immense amount of satisfaction when they managed to pull off a trick. Come on, EA, we want to be flicking sticks and landing tricks again. Bushido Blade brought something new to the fighting game genre by introducing the one-hit kill. The game didn't have any health bars and every hit did serious damage. It made the fighting action very tense and realistic. The game did get a sequel in 1998, but after that it went quiet. Kengo, Master of Bushido, that came out in the year 2000, is considered a spiritual successor as it was developed by the original developers. However, that still means we've had to live 17 years of our lives without these nerve-wracking fighting games. It's about time someone at least gave us an HD remaster of Bushido Blade because it was just that good. We absolutely love the Castlevania Netflix series, and it made us realize how much we need a new Castlevania game. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 from 2014 was a bit of a disappointment, and Konami has been kind of a nightmare since. We probably have to wait until the spiritual successor Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is finished. This game by former Castlevania lead producer Koji Igarashi should come out early 2018. However, we really would love a true Castlevania game because the universe is so interesting. With the Netflix series being renewed for a second season, we have to assume someone at Konami is paying attention. So let's give Dracula and the Belmont clan the comeback they deserve.
Action! Break through the fence! Through the burning house!
It's not often that you come across an original racing game. That's why we enjoyed Stuntman so much back in the day. This game put you behind the wheel of a car in a series of missions where you had to perform all sorts of stunts for fake movies. Being a stuntman in a film is pretty hard as it turns out. The requirements for each mission were tough and you got extra points for things like airtime and near misses.
Action! Use action! Grab the trucks!
After successfully completing a mission, you would get to see the end result in the form of a movie trailer with replays of your driving. We would love to see what a third game in the series could look like on today's consoles.
Staying here is suicide. You better be leaving me here.
What if Resident Evil had dinosaurs instead of zombies? That's basically the premise of the Dino Crisis series. The first two games had the same wonderful tension and gameplay. And did we mention it had huge freaking dinosaurs already? However, Capcom completely killed the series with the horrible third game. It had almost no scares and focused more on hardcore shooting action. That would be fine if it wasn't for the horrible camera system and incredible weak design of the dinosaurs. While this soured a lot of gamers on the franchise, we think enough time has passed for it to make a comeback. Can you imagine what a new Dino Crisis on modern gaming technology would look like? And that brings us to the most elusive of games, the infamous Half-Life 3 we are all waiting on. Valve used to be a famous video game developer before they got into the money printing business with Steam. Their Half-Life series were some of the best shooters ever made thanks to an amazing story and interesting gameplay mechanics. Players loved taking on the role of Gordon Freeman in the first two games and downloadable episodes.
You're not the first to come through here, by
This is the Freeman. The Combine's reckoning has come.
Then the waiting on the conclusion started. According to Valve, we would get Half-Life 3 in 2007. That's over 10 years ago and we're still waiting. However, we simply refuse to believe it will never come out. We just want to believe. Which dormant game series would you love to see make a comeback? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.